Hey there YouTube, this is SJM4306 back with another review video. This time it's another lighting product. I use these all the time. This one's a combined lamp slash magnifying glass, so that actually should be pretty useful for soldering tiny little things and inspecting things for like solder shorts and whatnot. Anywho, this comes from a company called NOEVSBIG. It's NOEVSBIG. It's one of those 6 or 7 letter word companies. Anywho, if you know, you know. But this model in particular is the larger one. It has I think 4 linkages. So it's one of these articulating desk lamp thingies, sort of in the vein of like the Pixar lamp looking things. This one is $46, and there's one with only 3 linkages, and that one is, it's like $10 cheaper. I think it's like $34. Anywho, with current pricing, that may or may not change. Anywho, they sent me the larger one, so just get right into it. Comes in a pretty plain box, but it is well packed. Just arrived via Amazon. And yeah, that's how you spell the company name. Yeah, thank you for buying the product. Ooh, they make like a desk version. That's interesting, with like a base. Huh. But I know, yeah, I have this largest one. And so, this one has like built-in LEDs and a digital controller for it. So that's pretty cool. And it comes with like a really beefy desk clamp. This guy. Just like, it feels like it's milled aluminum or something. Like, this should withstand quite a bit of force. And there is like a rubber grip on the top and the side here, so it doesn't damage the desk, and undoubtedly also on the bottom of the wheel part here. And yeah, has these little rotating screw thingies for securing it. We have a nice little like towelette thingy to clean. It's like a microfiber cloth. That's what I'm looking for, to clean the lens, because this is a magnifying glass. You can see the ring light around it and the magnifying glass itself, and it's like decently heavy. So undoubtedly this isn't plastic. This is actually glass, and everything's metal, by the way. so far it feels really solid. It's built really well, as far as I can tell. It does come with a power supply for the USB for the light, and this guy is rated for, let's see, 10 watts, so 2 amps at 5 volts. So that'll kind of give you an idea of what kind of lighting level you should expect from this. It's not going to be super light, but it's just for inspection, pretty much. We have the on-off control here. We have plus, minus, and then a whatever that symbol is. I have a very similar light, and that button controls the color temperature. So I'm gonna guess this has. Ooh. Okay, I'm getting distracted. I'm gonna guess that there's 2 sets of LEDs, like 2 rings of LEDs in here for cold white and warm white. We have nice big springs on these guys. Ooh, these are big. And yeah, so it's sort of self-supporting sort of thing going on. And yeah, so I'm gonna actually have to do the rest of this part off camera, get this set up on my desk, and then show you guys. This is one of those things that you can like pull and articulate in any position, and it just sort of stays there. So that should be pretty useful. You could tuck it out of the way when you're not using it. Let me get this set up on the desk and give you guys a quick demo. Okay, we are set up on this like temporary desk thing, because I was actually going to have it on my bench, which is over that away, over here. Sorry for the mess. You can't mount this. I mean, you physically can mount it upside down, but the springs are only tensioned for downward force. So if you put it upside down, then they don't retain the position. It just kind of flops and falls. So I wanted to use this, have it suspended. Like I have my current lamp, which is upside down effectively on like the 4-shelf rack next to my bench. However, it's not going to hold itself. I have everything tightened down decently, so I can actually articulate this pretty easily. And yeah, I might have to actually zoom out. Yeah, and it just sort of holds its position. It's not super securely clamped. This is just sort of supposed to be like a mouse rest. because this is like a computer desk from IKEA, and it's pretty thin. I put a block of wood, though, so it's not clamping directly on this thin metal. It wobbles a little bit. This is just a temporary setup. But yeah, the articulation is actually pretty good. I have everything dialed in, so I have this random project that I'm working on right now, and I have a power bank plugged in, so I'm just going to turn this on, and we have light. So this looks like it's the warm white, so we'll just go in here. To change the color temperature, it's the middle button. So this looks like maybe mixed or cool white, and yeah, this is cool white. There's actually like several. Wow, okay. So it actually does, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5 or 6. I think it was 5 actually. Different color temperature modes ranging from this warm white to sort of a neutral, more blue now, colder, coldest, and then back to warmest. So yeah, actually kind of like this like neutral one. Sort of looks closer to the colors that my eyes are actually seeing. And we're viewing obviously through magnification. It seems to be about maybe 2 or 3, maybe 5 times magnification. I don't really have anything to test that, but just like looking at the size of my hand versus what my fingers should be sized, yeah, it looks like about 5 times magnification maybe. So yeah. It looks a lot bigger to my eyes than the phone screen. The optics on, here we go. So I was on the ultra wide lens. I was gonna say why the optics make it look smaller than I can see it with my eyes, but yeah, like that's actually decent magnification and pretty wide field of view. When you start pulling it out a little bit, like I think that is about as far as I would get before I start like losing focus sort of. Further out, it gets like a little bit blurrier. There's more optical aberration. And yeah, like, I guess to be fair, my eyes are around here when I'm looking at it. But it fills my view in person more than the camera lens is showing. It looks clear, definitely, to my eyes at this distance. So the working distance seems to be about like, yeah, by the time I get to about here, it starts getting too optically unclear. So that's like what, maybe 5 or 6 inches. So that seems to be a pretty decent working distance. I can adjust the stand here just by manipulating the end. There's a little bit of dust there. Undoubtedly, when I was faffing around, I got some dust on it. But yeah, that's actually pretty usable. I'm gonna have to try soldering under this. But yeah, and we can adjust the brightness as well. So this is full tilt, it looks like. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 to the lowest brightness. This is still perfectly usable, actually. And ramp it up all the way. There you go, that's full brightness. The LED ring just sits in here. You can just about see the individual LEDs through the camera because its exposure is auto-adjusting. But to my eyes, it just looks like kind of a more or less continuous ring of light. So yeah, one thing I would do if you were going to use this, I would put some sort of, I might actually 3D print a little plastic thing that sits on top of here to cover it so that dust, I'm not too worried about the underside, but if I have it in this position, dust is definitely, it already has settled on the top of this. I left this for about a week. I've used this a little bit. Just in case you're wondering, this random project that I'm working on, obviously this is not the battery that this came with, but it's one of these Android MP3 players, and I used this hot plate to remove the back glass, which I have here. Here's the back glass. And my plan is to remove the front LCD from this metal mid-frame and make sort of a standalone Android media player center sort of thing using the main board and the glass and whatnot. And because this does support USB host, I'm planning on also having like externally accessible USB accessories and whatnot. So you could plug thumb drives into it, or I'll have like hard media controls on the unit, like a knob and all that kind of stuff. Anywho, that's not relevant to the review of this. Yeah. As for the value of this guy was, I think, like $50-ish, which is actually not too bad. The cheaper version with one less linkage was like $10 cheaper, I think, last I checked. Honestly, just pay the extra $10, and having like this extra arm gives you a lot more maneuverability. It's actually pretty easy. I tighten these not super hard, but it does seem to hold its position pretty well. If I just zoom out there, it's pretty much just stays exactly where I push it. Yeah, that works really well. I would like to have this put on my bench over to the side there. Unfortunately, the way that the mounting bracket would fit, there's nowhere to clamp it to on that desk. I'd probably have to drill through the wood and remove this collet and like make something that this could screw into the actual desk surface, because that desk has drawers on the underside. There's nowhere to clamp to. You can't use a C-clamp, unfortunately. Not really a fault of this lamp, but it's something to consider if you're getting this for a desk. Make sure that you have a little bit of clearance, top and bottom, that you can actually clamp something to, and make sure it's like it can support the weight. This guy it's not super heavy, but I think it's probably like, I don't know, 8 or 10 pounds or something like that. This is real glass. You definitely do not want to drop this. So whatever you clamp this to, you want it to be pretty secure so that there's no risk of damaging anything. I'm more worried about the glass. The metal itself is just sort of like square section tube stock. This should last pretty much forever. The knobs, a lot of these over time, the knobs will, I guess, like lose grip or like start wearing, so it'll tend to like sink. Time will only tell. I'll actually have to use this for like a year or two in order to see if that happens. It doesn't look like it'd be too difficult to like 3D print my own knobs if that does start to happen. I'm not sure if it's like an inset threading that starts to give out, or if it's like the friction between the surface of the knob and the metal panel here. But yeah, so far it's working really well, and I'm definitely looking forward to using this. I will give this a try for soldering. This is probably better because of relatively how close you'll need to get to the surface. The working distance is maybe only like 6 inches. This is probably more suited towards inspection. Though you probably could get around using this for soldering. You just have to be really careful with the soldering iron tip that you don't bump it into. Soldering under magnification is a little bit difficult because you don't necessarily have the same depth of field as if you were just soldering with your plain eyes, and it does take a little bit of practicing because you'll have a sort of intuition of what depth when you move your hands, and that's not true when it's under magnification because it's a different rate than you're expecting. So yeah, it takes a little bit of practice, but this is actually pretty good for inspecting things. So say if I wanted to inspect for shorts or just inspect solder joint quality. Just while I was talking, this does come with a power adapter, which is, what is it? 10 watts, so 2 amps, 5 volts. I'm just using a power bank here, and in the time that I was talking, the counter on the video says 10 minutes. It's already consumed 6% of the battery, and this is a 10,000 milliamp battery, I believe so. Yeah, it's 10,000, so it consumes 6% of that at full brightness, full tilt. So yeah, you could probably get away with using just a power bank and recharging every once in a while, but yeah, you are going to want to have this plugged into the wall long term if you want to use this for actual work. And the cord is only, if I zoom out here, the cord is about 3 to 4 feet, so not super long. So this needs to be near an outlet, unfortunately, or if you're not, then a power bank will have to suffice. But you might want to look into getting a USB extender if you're further than about like 4 feet from the nearest outlet. Yeah, this will definitely get tons of use. It's been on for 10 minutes, like I said, and the metal is only slightly warm. So in terms of like the heat management, seems pretty good. Seems like the sizing of the wattage of the LED and the amount of metal around it, the metal is acting like a slight heat sink. It is warm, but it's nowhere near hot that I would actually start getting worried. If you leave this on for an hour, it's probably going to saturate like the metal, acting as a heat sink, and start to get a little bit warmer. But this is not like super, super bright. It's good enough to work under, but I'm not too worried about like thermals, honestly. So yeah, once again, huge thanks to the manufacturer for sending this guy in for review. And they've also reached out to me to see if I was interested in more soldering type equipment. And I said definitely, because I do a lot of soldering, a lot of rework, a lot of electronics projects. So if you guys are interested in seeing more sort of DIY equipment sort of reviews, just let me know. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.